Hi YouTube, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to go ahead and sandwich our quilt, and so that's what I come to show you today in our quilt series project and the completion of the quilt. So we're going to go ahead and get to the word of the Lord. First we're going to read 1 Timothy verses 5 through 8, and it reads as, "The purpose of my instruction is that all believers would be filled with love that comes from a pure heart, a clear conscience, and genuine faith. But some people have missed this whole point. They have turned away from these things and spend their time in meaningless discussions. They want to be known as teachers of the law of Moses, but they don't know what they are talking about, even though they speak confidently. We know that the law is good when used correctly." And once again, that's 1 Timothy verses 5 through 8. Thank you for joining me for the word of the Lord. And we're just going to get right into the project. I'm going to show you some of the things that you're going to need for this process. I'm doing this on my kitchen floor because all of my other spaces are occupied. So I need to do it on the kitchen floor. I mop the floor, and this is the way I've always done it anyway. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to sandwich this quilt. So this is just some painter's tape. This is some Soaky KK2 spray base. There's nothing left in here but a little bit, but I'm just showing you some of the different ones that you can use. This is Soaky 2000, and it's a temporary basting spray. This is a 505 temporary bracing spray, and I think you can get this at Joann's Fabric. So if you want to spray base it, you can use that. But if you don't want to spray base it, you can use some good old safety pins. And I have two types of safety pins. I have some straight safety pins and some curved safety pins. And to put my safety pins in, I have this tool that I've had for so long that the writing is coming off. It's called Apologine Creations Quick Clip. So and it has little grooves in it to help you with the pins. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. So I'm going to point you down here to my quilt on the floor, and hopefully you can see that. Let's see. Let's get you back as far as we can, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So you see my quilt backing on the floor, but I want to keep it a little taut, and I don't want it to move around. So that's where the painter's tape is going to come in. I'm just going to take off some of the painter's tape, and I'm going to move it back a little bit. I'm going to take some of the painter's tape off, and I'm just going to kind of put the painter's tape on the floor. And I use painter's tape because it doesn't leave a sticky residue on the floor. So I'm just going to put that kind of on the floor, and then I'm going to go around to the other side and put some on the other side because I don't want this to move. So then I'm just going to come over here, and I'm just going to pull just a little bit. I'm not going to pull too tightly, just a little bit, to keep it just a little taut, not super tight, but I don't want any slack in it. So if I need to go to the sides and pull to the sides a little bit, you could do that as well. Just put some painter's tape, and I use the wide one because that way it just works out better for me. And then I'm going to put some right here, just a little bit of painter's tape. And if you have more room, sorry for moving in front of the camera, but I'm working with what I got. If I had to wait until my situation was perfect, you'd never get this tutorial. So I'm just going to put it on there. So now that my quilt top is down and I got painter's tape to hold it for me, now I'm going to take my batting. And remember, you can get a crib quilt and you can cut it down. Just make sure that it is enough room for your quilt top. Make sure you have enough. So I have enough. It's all around. Actually, I could cut some of the bottom off to where I could see my quilt top, but I'm not going to worry about that. So I got my backing, and the pretty side is down facing the floor, and the other side is up where the batting is. And then I'm going to take my quilt top, and I am going to put that in the middle. You can see that. Now you see I have some space at the bottom where I can see my fabric. You might can't see it because I have all of that. I have a little bit extra, but what I can do, if I didn't want to have that extra, to make sure that I have enough, I could cut this. So I'll just cut this excess off. Oh, I could cut a little bit more so I can see my fabric. I just cut this off. I can save that for a pouch or something like that. So now you can see my backing is bigger than my batting, and my batting is bigger than my quilt top. So now that I have all that sandwiched down, what I can do is I can take my 505 spray. Oh no, my top came off. Let me go over here and grab my top. If you have a high table, that will be even better. If you had a high table you could do this on. I don't have a high table. I do have a high table, but it's not available right now. I have about 100 pairs of earrings on it. So it is not available. So what I'm going to do is I'm just shaking up my can of 505 temporary spray. I'm shaking up the can. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get down here, or if I was high up at a table, I'd be higher up at a table. And I'm just going to take this. I'm going to move my quilt top back, and I'm going to spray my batting. I'm going to spray it and just give it a minute. And I haven't used this in so long. Let me get myself I'm just going to use a piece of this to clean off the nozzle sticky, because I've been having this for a while. I'm going to just touch it lightly to see if it's sticky yet. And just going to spray a little bit more. And you want it bigger because you don't really want to spray the floor, because it will make the floor sticky. But I'm used to it. So then you would just take it and you would just smooth out your quilt onto the spray basting, and it will stay in place. So you can take this and put it under your machine, and you would be able to go ahead and stitch it in the ditch, or stitch it a 1/4 inch away from the seams, whichever one you like. But that's how you just spray baste it. So then you have to go around to the other side. So I'm gonna go around to the other side. I should have did it on the other side of the kitchen over there, where I had a little bit more room. So it's like there's no spray right here. So I'm just gonna take it and spray a little bit right here, so I can get it and kind of just smooth it out. And you don't want to stretch it. You're just kind of smoothing it out. That's all you're doing. I'm going to show you how to use the pins too. I'm not going to use the pins. I'm probably going to take the pins out and I'm going to continue to spray based, but I'll show you how to use the pens if you wanted to use the pens. So you just kind of smooth it without kind of like pulling and tugging on it. So there. So sorry about that. Picking up my grandson photo, putting it back onto the refrigerator. Okay. So now if I wanted to do the pins, I'm going to take my little quick quack tool. If you don't have a quick quack tool, I'm not sure what else you can use. You can just use your hands, I guess. But I'm going to show you two different kinds of pins as well. So I'm going to come closer to the camera to show you these pins. This is a regular safety pin. But this is a quilting pin. You see how it has that bend in it? That bend is for this quick quack tool, for this tool. You can use this tool with each of them, but they were made specifically for this this pin. So I'm going to show you what I would do if I didn't have any spray or if I didn't want to spray. So what I might do, just depending on the surface that you're using, what you could do is you could take the pin, and you want to put the pins in places that you're not going to stitch. Like I said, I'm going to stitch in the ditch or stitch a 1/4 inch away from my seams. So these are my seams where I join the quilt going down. So I don't want to put my pins in the seams because I'm going to stitch right there. So what I would do is I would put my pin in other places. And I would just, and you would need a lot of pins for this. And you don't have to close them if you don't want to, but just make sure that you put them all going in the same direction. And you would just, you know, put your pins in. So, because the whole premise of the pins or the spray is to keep the batting, the backing, and the top together. And what I failed to do, which I should have done at first, was I was supposed to spray this to this. So now I got to go back and do that. But you see how this is not coming apart? The quilt top and the batting. So I'm just going to lay it backwards, and I'm going to spray that in a second. But I just want to show you how to put the pins in. So you would just put the pins in away from the seams, nowhere in the seams. And I probably would put like maybe about 4 pins. I would put it all around the circle to keep it together. I will put it in the little squares. I probably would put it in about 3 or 4 of the little squares to keep them together, but nowhere in the seams. Now I'm not going to stitch in the middle of the seams of my patches. I'm not going to stitch in that seam, but I am going to stitch probably on this side, on these 2 seams, maybe a 1/4 inch from here and a 1/4 inch from there, but not here. I may stitch right there. We'll see. I may just stitch from here to here. Just back. Yeah, I probably will stitch there because the batting is 10 inches. Even though this is going to be a 10-inch block when it's finished, I probably will still stitch just right here. Or I may, yeah, I'll probably stitch right here and right there. So I'm just going to, but I already have spray up there, so I'm not going to put any spray there. But this is how you would spray. And if you wanted to close, you would just stick this tool underneath it, because the pin will go in the groove. This has grooves on it, and the pin will go in the groove, and then you could just lift it up and stick it down, and then that would close it. And then when you get ready to take all these pins out, the same thing, you just push it and open it up. But I'm not going to pin base, so I'm going to take all these pins out because I'm going to spray base. And just let me know if you need a better tutorial on how to pin, because I'll take the other blocks that we made, the samples that I have, and make a little smaller piece to show you that, and I may do that anyway because I'm probably a little bit far from the situation right now. So let me get up and finish spray basting my quilt. So I'm just shaking up my can some more. I'm just shaking it up some more, and I'm just going to pull it up to where it is, and I'm just going to spray baste it some more to right here in the corner. And you could do this, open up a window. Open up a window. And I'm going to go back and put it, baste the backing to the batting, which I should have did that at first before I put the top on there. It's been a while since I made a quilt. But like I said, if I wait until everything is perfect, this project would not get done. So I'm gonna go and remember as I go. I'm just gonna gently push it down. Gently. Anywhere I need more, I'll just lift. Anywhere it comes up easily, I'll just lift that back and put a little bit more. So now we should have enough to where it is spray basted down. So now what we can do is now I can take the back of my quilt top and I folded it in half. I'm going to continue to shake up my can, and now I'm just going to spray the back of this. Uh-oh, we got some little something on there. I don't worry about the little threads or something, but so you just would spray it. And then because you have this top down already, you would just take this half. Now you could do this before you put the quilt top on. Normally that's what I do, but I forgot. Sorry about that. And then you just kind of, and it will keep the, because we put the tape on the back and made it a little taut, not tight, but taut, we're keeping our backing from wrinkling up. It's keeping it smooth. That's what we're doing. So that is what we're doing. So now our bottom half is done. I'm going to go around to the other side. Hopefully the next quilt that I'll make with you guys, I will have my quilting table cleaned off so we can do it on the table. But if you don't have a table, this is how you just use what you got. This is how you use what you got. So just continue to spray the top half. And that's another reason why I try to make it a little bit smaller, because then that way I don't have too much overspray. But if you don't want to spray at all, I have a window open over there, so I'm not really smelling a lot of the fumes. But then I'm going to take the top half and smooth it back down over this, and you see how this is smooth still? I'm just going to take this and we're going to just smooth it down over our backing. just gonna smooth it down. Smooth it down. Or if you're gonna pin it, just pin it. Just don't pin it where the seams is. Don't try to remember, don't pin anywhere where you want to put some stitching. I'm not a quilter. Like, I don't like do fancy quilting. I've been quilting for probably 26 years, ever since my daughter was 9 years old. She'll be 35 next month. And when I've quilted, I think except for maybe 1 or 2 quilts that I practiced a little meander, I've always stitched in the ditch. I usually don't make a block bigger than 6 or 8 inches, and I always buy batting that you could quilt up to 10 inches away. That way my blocks still look good even if I only use the process of stitching in the ditch, which is what we're going to do. And I'm going to have to mop this floor before my husband has the connection fit. So that is how you sandwich a quilt. And then when you're ready to take it to your machine, you can just pull off the masking tape. You can pull the masking tape out, and what you can actually do is just kind of pull it up. Now you see the whole thing. Let me see. Pull these up off the ground. My husband's going to be home for work any minute, and I'm not going to have anything attached to this floor. So, if you see now, let me see, I'm going to move it up. Now you see how all 3 pieces are together. If you look on the back, there are no bunches of wrinkles or whatever. If it's any wrinkles, you can smooth it out. And the whole thing is put together. So now we can take this to the machine. I'm going to take off this. Take off these. And you can do the same thing that I just did with this on a big enough, on a table. If you have a big enough table, you can do that on a table. I just used the kitchen floor. So now, what we're going to do in the next video is we're probably going to do the binding. I'll probably show you how to sew the binding together. So once we stitch this in the ditch, we can just go ahead and add our binding. So the next video will be us sewing the binding together and pressing it and getting it ready for once we quilt this and stitch it in the ditch. And so remember, you could just always smooth it out. I'll probably lay this down and smooth it out a little bit more. And then we'll be ready to quilt it. So stay tuned for the next video where we go ahead and we prepare the binding. We already cut it. I think I already put that video up where you would cut the binding. And then once you cut the binding, and I'm gonna teach you how to sew it together, press it, so it's all in one long, continuous piece, so that when we finish stitching this in the ditch, we're gonna cut off this excess, and then we're gonna attach our binding. So stay tuned for that video. Thank you for joining me. We have our sandwich, we have our quilt sandwich all put together and ready to go for the next video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give me a like in this video, a thumbs up. A like and a thumbs up are the same. So go ahead and like the video. Give me a thumbs up. God bless you. You have an awesome and an amazing day. And stay tuned and come back for the next part. God bless. See you later. Bye.